Hello everyone, and welcome to this presentation. My name is Thea Urdal, and I'm a designer and journalist. And I've been so fortunate to have been invited here to Zlin, both to exhibit my project TUBU, but also to curate parts of the products exhibition with Herman Billet. And today I will be talking about TUBU, which is my personal nonprofit research project. It's a modular apparel system and an apparel editorial platform for inclusive design. And I wanted to describe how I'm looking today. I have blonde hair, I have fair skin, I'm wearing a pink shirt that was originally my grandfather's. It has a torn collar because it was worn so much that I think really gives it something special. I'm also wearing blue jeans and sneakers, and I'm 35 years old. Right. So first a little bit about myself. As I said, I am a designer and journalist. I have a BA in product design and textile from Oslo Met and a master's degree in graphic design. I have worked really extensively as a journalist, both in Norway, but also in London at Monocle and in New York at Nylon Magazine. And I really love to work with ideas of science fiction and speculative fiction, and it really informs my work, dreaming of different ways of doing things. I'm based at Nesodden in Norway, which is a green and rocky peninsula in the Oslo fjord. It's reached by ferry, and I live there with my partner and my daughter of my 4-year-old daughter, and we also have a duck and 3 chickens and lots of really curious birds and other types of animals, which is really lovely. On the left there's an image of me in Milan after I visited the Italian knitwear factory that I collaborate with. And I might look fine in the image, but I was really nervous before this meeting, and I almost got sick at a railway station, but it fortunately worked out fine. So when I talk about TUBU, I say that I use a philosophy and a design method that is based on world building and not brand building. I think that is partly because of my interest in creative writing and literary critique, and I think it's the way that I found it most intuitive to work, as I have a penchant for the writings of Ursula K. Le Guin and Margaret Atwood, and maybe not so much that of Wally Allens. So I realized that for me, I'm not a brand builder, I'm more of a world builder, and I work within the realm of systems design, where I try to think not just of the product that is designed, but of the whole production line and the production system itself. It's definitely more challenging, but it's the way I would prefer to do it. So on this slide there are several blue and pink stickers, and some of them have text like pre-order and on demand and micro batch, and that has to do with the way I think of production, which is in many ways an extremely utopian way of producing apparel, but that's the way I like it. So on this slide there is some text that says, "Clothing is intimate technology, almost biology." And it was a close friend of mine, Camilla Bruberg, who said this. She's worked as a technician for me, and she's also a true knitwear savant, I say. She's doing a PhD in knitwear at the Oslo National Academy of the Arts, where I also have my MA. And this really resonates with me, as I've always wanted to create something in textiles, but have never really found, I guess, the right way of doing it. The fashion and textile industry is inherently exclusive, with really archaic names such as, extra small, extra large, and also with a production system that is truly terrible, both for the people creating the garments, but also for nature and the environment. So when I decided to do something in textile, and now in digital knitwear, it needed to be with a very clear outcome and a clear focus. And when I had my daughter 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago, I was diagnosed with preeclampsia, which is a very serious, possibly life-threatening condition. And fortunately, due to me living in Norway with a very extensive welfare system, I was saved and my daughter was saved. But globally, it's one of the conditions that kill most people in childbirth. After this, I noticed that my body was changing, and my once trusted companions and textiles, they no longer fit me, and they didn't change with me. So I was very keen to develop a system of clothes that would follow me along all seasons of life, as we say, which are great stages of biopsychological transformation. That can be, childbirth, but it could also be something like just menstruation. It could be sickness, or it could just be periods of life where you're not, where you're feeling different and your body changes. And I really wanted to work with that. So I ended up creating a system that I co-designed with a close friend of mine, Hannah Termulin, and she has worked extensively with knitwear, both at Savile Row, but also for Calvin Klein. And I decided to root it in research and education. It's a nonprofit, independently owned project. And what we do is modular apparel for all seasons of life. And the digital ribbed knitwear is the foundation of all of this, where the ribbed qualities, with their inherent flexible qualities, it's the root foundation of the program itself. We were very fortunate to be one out of 8 of 77 applicants that received funding from Design and Architecture Norway in 2021. And we have this very key focus on inclusive design and most notably inclusive sizing. So what we say here is that we create shapes, not sizes, and it's non-binary and non-gendered because clothes are just clothes. Our core product is something called the Belly Tech, which is a core warmer. So the philosophy behind this, and this very, so to speak, simple piece, it's a ribbed knitted woolen tube. And the research on this is if your core muscles are kept warm, then your entire system is kept warm. So one product keeps the entire system going. And that's kind of a part of this whole ecosystem way of thinking. It's not just one piece. It's very multi-component, and that's what we like to do. So this is an image of me as a child. I was roughly around 7-8 years old. I didn't fit into any teen wear, so I need to use children's apparel and predominantly boys apparel. It didn't really bother me that much, but it also really emphasized on these like archaic systems of division, boys department, girls department. And I was really scrawny growing up. I was really, really small. So when I learned to sew and construct garments, going from 2D to 3D, it opened up a whole new world for me where I could finally create the garments that didn't fit. And I create something that just allowed me to be me, basically. So for the TUBU system, we have created shapes, not sizes, and we have 4 shapes in the system as of now. They are named after elements and botanical things from nature. So it's a system of 4 pieces. It's Papilio, which is a caterpillar, Amanita, which is the fly agaric mushroom, Nalumbo, which is a water flower, a specific water flower, and Betula, which is a birch tree. And all of these pieces and all of these shapes, they inherently embody many sizes in one. So with these 4 shapes, we cover roughly 20 traditional sizes, but it's not an extensive system, and it's in development as we speak. We also really want to work with optical representation and also to cut down on waste in pre-production. So we worked with the digital prototyping agency, the Hapticians, and created our avatar, Ava. And she is a fit size 16, that's a European size 44, 46. And that is one of the absolutely most common sizes for people identifying as women in the world. But she would be defined as a plus size in the standardized apparel system, which is something we are definitely trying to change. So Eva has helped us so much in trying on the different prototypes digitally before we even produce anything in the real world. Again, building on this lovely mishmash of tech, text, and textiles. We do localized production in the sense that we do nearshoring, really hoping to do onshoring in Norway in the near future, but we are starting, we started with our production in Italy at an amazing family-driven factory called Magliafixio Pini, which is in the Bologna region, in a small town called, oh, it actually escapes me. It's right outside Bologna right now. But it's been extremely great to have this close relationship with the family that has worked with knitwear for Forli. That's the town, of course. Beautiful Italian name, Forli. They worked with knitwear since the 70s, and they have a really beautiful combination of doing digital knitwear that they finish with a needle and thread. So this is it's a very kind of Fingerspitzengefühl way approach to doing design, and it's a lovely way of working. So this was a very quick summary of what we do at TUBU, and hopefully it will just continue to expand as a world. TUBU is a shape-shifting system, so please visit the website to see the editorial content to come, and there will come more in the coming months. And thank you so much for having me and inviting me. Thank you.